seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to SA Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. I'll be your host tonight here. I got a full cast at the table here. We'll start out with Royce. How have you been, man?
Tired, exhausted, but also recharged and really hopeful for
Saturday,
the second third of the season to kick off. So looking forward to it.
Hopefully it'll be better than the first third. Rafa, I know you've been on international duty this week here, and can't wait to get your report of your fun weekend both at Toyota Field and at the Dome. But how are you doing this week? Can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Man, we heard him all along.
Whoa. Yeah, I know. Chatting before, but can't hear him now.
All right,
what did you do? Go to your cam and mic button at the bottom and make sure it's on the right, toggle the right one. Anyway,
come on, Rafa.
Harry, how have you been?
I've been good. It's work for that here, and tried to see if it was possible to go up to Colorado, but a 1:00 game makes that pretty hard to go up in a weekend and back.
Yeah, 1:00, but I guess it's on ESPN too. That's why it's on.
It is on ESPN too, and then the following match on Wednesday is I want to say it's an ESPN game as well. And of course, the USL higher ups will be in town for that as well with their AGM or whatever meeting that they're planning on having here. So
right,
Rafa, did you make it back?
Nope. Yeah, there's that cam mic button on the bottom. Just
how about now? No.
Or unplug your headphones. Just unplug the headphones, maybe. Man, of course we would.
Dude, I've been talking to Rafa for a half hour and nothing. Now all of a sudden I hit the start button. And
hopefully this means the San Antonio FC season is going to go well because our show's starting off crappy, and it's kind of been the opposite. As our show's gotten better, SAFC season's kind of dragged along, but hopefully our show kind of starting off crappy. They're going to start out hot, and they're going to start out with a winning streak. So let's see if that happens.
Yeah, there, Rafa. Nope. So we're going to get the show started with the lower league action for it here. And then, like I said, here we'll hopefully by the time we get to San Antonio FC, Rafa will be back in here for that here. So let's kind of go through here. So the final standings, in the UWS Southwest has been finished here. Everybody's played the 10 games. I didn't update the bottom here, but Lone Star Republic completed the perfect season, 30 points out of 30. San Antonio Athenians, only loss was at Lone Star Republic early in the year. Side FC finished a strong third. And here's where it gets a little bit funny for that here. Wilco, Williamson County, technically finished fourth, but opted out of the playoffs. So fifth place, Austin Elite will get to take their spot here, which then the playoffs here. These will be the four playoffs here, and this is courtesy of the Athenians Twitter account here. Lone Star Republic 1, Athenians 2, Side FC 3, Austin FC with the asterisk with fourth, And, of course, on Saturday, if you happen to be in the Mansfield area at the R.L. Anderson Stadium, at 6 o'clock, you'll be able to catch the Athenians host Side FC out of Tulsa. So it's a good middle of the way for everybody to go. Lone Star Republic, the number 1 seed, gets to host at home against Austin Elite. For that here, the 2 winners of those, and I think most people expect the Athenians and Lone Star to advance to the final, which would be Sunday, July 18th at 7 o'clock. I know Lone Star Republic has a pretty good YouTube channel, which I believe is where most likely the game will be covered on. But that'll be something that we'll highlight once we get confirmation on. But I know that they do 11 Sports, which used to be My Kuju. But they also do like the YouTube. I've seen some things where they're able to put a little bit higher quality on their YouTube channel. So you should be able to view, hopefully you'll be able to view both games. I'm assuming that you will. And then for the final, the following week, July 23rd, the week of 23rd versus 25th, the 2021 UWS National Championship will be just up the road in Round Rock for that here. And of course, this is courtesy of UWS Soccer on Twitter with the logo here. So to me, if the Athenians can get past a very tough Lone Star, well, assuming that they beat Side FC, which they have beat earlier in the year, but they are a quality team. Assuming they're able to get past this weekend, they could, it'd be interesting to see how many of us get to travel up to Round Rock, and depending on when it is, to be able to see them, possibly go for a national championship, which would be outstanding for unofficial D2 women's soccer here in the United States. Thoughts, Rafa or Royce? Are you back here, Rafa, yet? Nope.
Man, we're talking for like 30 minutes before this, and then anyway, I guess I'll give my opinion. It's awesome. It's really cool and unique that it's close. That's definitely something that I didn't expect. And then when I started hearing the rumors that, I first started hearing the rumors that they're going to try to have the division games at a neutral site, which to me that was, an Austin team's going to be in it. A Dallas team is going to be in it. In San Antonio, it's going to be along I-35. Are they going to have it in San Marcos? That would be nice and close. Are they going to have it in Georgetown or Round Rock, obviously? But it's so cool that they're going to have the division playoffs in Mansfield. That's still it's far, but it's not too far.
It's about a 4-hour drive.
4 hours. Without
depending
traffic.
on how, assuming you go around Austin.
It's 4 hours if you take the toll road around Austin. That's correct. But to have the national championship in Round Rock, that's very unique and that's very cool. And I'm going to have to talk to my family about possibly making a road trip up there because there's no SAFC game.
Oh, there isn't?
That's right. They're playing Wednesday and Wednesday. Yep. So.
Rafa?
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Opa!
I had to go to the phone. So something's on my laptop.
Man,
it's just nuts. You and I talked for a half hour, and since the show starts, where's Rafa?
It's a curse of this laptop. I gotta have to get it turned in.
It's amazing.
So, moving on to kind of a new section here for it here. Looking at some USL news and notes. Oakland Roots, you gotta love them. They had 2 games canceled this week against Phoenix, which was supposed to be tonight, and versus Tacoma that have been rescheduled due to COVID. I think these are the first 2 matches of the season being canceled for COVID reasons. And, it sucks that it's the Roots, don't get me wrong, because they've already had to reschedule a match because of Rayo Turf.
Yep.
So
it's the Oakland Rayo OKCs now. So
it has not been a good first year for the NISA team moving to USL Championship. So
a little
rough, and that's not counting. So they had the turf. They had to move. I think it's 2 games that were moved to a different location.
Venue.
The field fixed here. These 2 games are being moved to the alternative site as well. So. That's interesting. But To me, I guess a big story.
To kind of put a cherry on top of that one, is that oh man, good. Oh, you think SAFC's second half or second third of the season is going to be super compact?
Oh yeah.
With their, was it 7-game October and 7-game August? Imagine what the Roots are going to have to go through there. God Lord, they have what? They have 8 games in, so they have 3 or 4 games to make up. Well, including these, they're going to have 5 or 6 games to make up. In a very compact schedule already. That team is going to be exhausted, man. So, also shout out to Chewy. Hopefully he's not one of them that's in protocol, and hopefully he's healthy and all right over there.
Yeah, so the Root schedule. So in July, that one got canceled. So they have 3, for the remaining of this year. August, they were already scheduled for 6. September, they were scheduled for 6. And October, they were scheduled for 7 for that here. So, and I'm trying to, I guess I could see when they rescheduled those matches here, but yeah, it's
so one of those months is probably all of them are going to be at least 7 games 3 months in a row, if not 8. That's going to be pretty nuts.
Well, they already announced when that was. Here, hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I haven't seen rescheduling of it at all. I saw that they announced that, and that's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's going to be rough for them for sure. And being a NISA club coming up, I'm sure their payroll isn't the highest, so to get that many players on a roster, that's just going to be rough. That's just really going to be rough for them.
Yeah, so they added a match. The game that was supposed to be played tonight on August 25th.
Okay, so an extra one in August.
Yeah, so they're going to go.
So it's going to be 7 in August.
So, yeah, 7 in August. And so here, they're going to go 14th, 18th, 21st, 25th, 28th.
Good Lord.
The 3rd. And then they announced the other one September 15th.
So an extra one in September. So, yeah,
3rd,
so it's going to be
11th, 15th, 18th, 22nd, 25th.
So yeah.
So they're going to have 7
in August, 7 in September, 7 in October. That's nuts, man.
That's
a lot.
Crazy.
That's a lot of soccer in a very compact time. That's what's that averaging, like 3 days rest for every game for 3 months.
And they're not the deepest of the teams, so
no, they're not. That's what I'm saying. That's going to be rough. Anyway, on to the Louisville debacle.
The Louisville situation here. They came out with first it was reported that
Rayo
Gomez.
Yeah,
was it
Jonathan Gomez
who signed with Louisville with the purpose of going to Europe, and they knew this. Which is
what I've been saying, what I've been preaching. This is exactly why USL exists and why this business platform, this business
just a better route
structure. Yeah, the business structure is so successful. Why it can be so great is this exact same this thing that allows transfers.
Proves that model could work.
Yes.
However, so we'll go with their announcement. It says, we're thrilled that Jonathan Gomez, a talent well beyond his years, is in conversations to join a prestigious European club after our 2021 season. That said, terms reported of his Lou City contract also served as a learning moment for our club and are among the reasons why in recent months we've been reevaluating oversight of football moving forward. So that was kind of a puzzling, when they tweeted that out, everybody's like, what? And then the Athletic kind of expanded on that, where they mentioned per sources that Louisville will receive around $100,000 from Soliad for Gomez, who signed a professional contract with the club in March of 2020. However, that contract, according to sources, allowed for Gomez to leave for free after the season in the event that then head coach John Hackworth left Louisville. And unfortunately, John Hackworth and Louisville parted ways after the first game of the 2021 USL season, which was in April. No, actually, yeah, because the season started late this year.
Oh, okay.
So
ours started in March, but anyway.
You're wrong.
They didn't start till May.
It didn't start till May.
Oh, that's right. That's
The
right.
preseason started in March.
Pre
That's
started
right.
in March.
And we were
People-
complaining about signings being so late because they signed a bunch of players in March. That's right. Okay.
So
I'm
your
remembering
idea-
being mad. Thanks. Appreciate it.
last year it started in March, took you know 2 months off, and then
That's
crammed
great. It started
down.
in March because we actually got that first game in before COVID that we won against Real Monarchs, which were the defending champions. And my memories returning back to me. It's been
And
a
then
long week already at work.
stuff
so
hit the
let's
fan.
continue.
So
Yes, it did.
in theory, it worked. However, Lou City did, I guess you can say.
Yeah, Lou City
Lose.
pulled a pulled a pre-cord on themselves, didn't they? By putting in a really stupid clause in a contract they never thought would actually happen, and then hey, it happened. So
Here's a
Yikes.
question for you then. How bad was the situation for them to let Hackworth go? Because that's $100,000 decision, which is probably more than you pay in Hackworth this year.
well,
And-
the real, I mean, I think you're coming at it from the wrong angle, and this is kind of going along with Louisville City FC's statement is that they didn't realize that was in the contract. They did not read it. They did
you
not.
don't think they realized it?
No. This is exactly why
Oh, wow.
they said that we are reevaluating oversight of football moving forward, meaning we screwed up because we didn't know that was in the contract. And when we read it, because we signed it and it's legally binding, we
Yeah, they're
screwed
done.
ourselves out of 6 figures worth of money that could have really helped go toward the club, especially since they just opened up that new stadium. So yeah, no, they shot themselves in the foot here by putting that clause in that contract or allowing that clause in the contract.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much what happened. And they probably wouldn't have let Hackworth go, but I mean, who knows what the situation was there, but it's very obvious they did not know that was a clause in Jonathan Gomez, their best and brightest player by far. They didn't know that was in his contract. So
Do you think that's?
Yikes.
I guess this would be a question for you, Rolf. Is that kind of standard in young players' contracts, or you think maybe they had some insight that there might have been some smoke around the team that nobody really knew?
That's probably smoke because whoever his agent is, he did a good job to get him out.
yeah,
You
that dude needs a
and
high
then,
five.
and then whoever the Louisville lawyers not looking at the contract needs to get the can, for that, to allow something like that. I think Louisville should have been smarter, than having some type of clause like that. You want to get a return in your investment. It's kind of the same situation. Like we didn't get anything back from Pirano when he went off to Portugal. So I'm sure SAFC, if they're gonna be giving up some players to go to Europe, they'll probably see this situation like.
See, I
make
think
sure all the I's and the I's and the I's and the T's are dotted on and so forth.
Yeah.
And
I think so, and this is something that I'm always going to stand up for. I think the Pirano move was calculated. I think it was a mistake. I don't want to say it was a mistake. It was a happenstance of the pandemic just happening at the wrong time. SAFC was just on a heater. They were by far the best in a weak division, but the best team by far, and they were rated really highly. And we probably would have gone deeper in the playoffs, barring a poor officiating show. But I think it was calculated that, look, we can sell Pirano. We might make 6 figures. It's probably going to be 5 figures. Why don't we just go on this playoff run? Our team's looking good. We're looking hot. I'm sure they got a few offers, but there was a calculated move to say, when else are we going to be in this? We don't want to hamstring Marcina and saying, hey, we're going to get rid of your best player right now. Good luck. We're going to the playoffs. What kind of faith would that put in Marcina? And they've really given Marcina all the tools to succeed. This year just has been, I'll say till I'm blue in the face. As we all know, it's just been a bad luck season. The first third of the season, we have 2/3 to make up for it, and I think that's what's going to happen. But how that's very different from this Louisville situation is basically they were like, cool, we're going to make $100,000. Let's start allocating that money. Let's see what we're. Oh wait, What's in the contract? Oh, we're not getting that, and he's just going to go for free. Crap. Whose fault is that? Oh, it's our fault. Crap. So that's basically how this went.
I don't think they're the same, and I've heard that the rumors that are out there about what SAFC was going to get from MLS may not be as factual as what it's rumored to be. Could it have may have it have worked up there with clauses and stuff possible, but I don't think they got the offer that the public perception is
right.
out there for that here. Plus,
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. If you've got a South American player or even a young American player, do they want to go to MLS if they're playing in USL, or do
Correct.
they want to go over to Europe? If you're playing in USL and you're not playing for a 2 team, you're most likely not looking to move to MLS.
Just the MLS, right? You're
Now,
looking to
if
go
that's your only option, then you're going to take it. But I think you're going to explore every option you can to go over to Europe, personally.
And the goal for all these young kids, whether you're honestly this whole hemisphere, is to go to Europe because that's where the crowds is. That's where all the eyes are. That's where all the eyes are. Well, according to evaluations, no, but those evaluations are really stupid. That's where all the money, that's where all the eyes are. That's where everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to be in the UEFA Champions League. Everybody wants to. I mean, if you're Manchester United, you want to be in the Europa League, but everybody wants to play over there. That's the big thing, and it's still the big thing. It's the big shiny object everybody wants to go to. Say, for instance, this is completely random. It doesn't match up to anything, any rumor, anything. Let's say Gallegos had the option of either going to random MLS club, I don't know, Dynamo or Tree FC, if he has the option to go there, or if Pumas came calling and said, we really like this kid, he made us look really bad, which he really did make him look bad. Why don't we just sign this kid? He's going to go to Pumas every day, and no one can blame him because that's where all the eyes are. So,
and also they have a history like Ameki sending players to Europe with no kind of strings attached like MLS is. I think there's one rumor right now.
Doesn't have to agree upon the transfer, and just all the strings attached. Correct.
Yeah.
So moving on, so that way we can get to some SAFC stuff here. We'll do some house cleaning here for it here. Copa Tejas, there was some movement this week here. RGV's played their 9th game already, only has 9 points. They tied the Austin Bold, who moved into 2nd place.
RGV has 7 games played.
No, they've got or 7 games played, pardon me. Yep. 7 games played, 9 points. The Bold played 4, we played 4, and El Paso's played 3. So SAS, there's a little bit of distance for SAFC to match up. But RGV standing in 1st place is actually not looking very strong with the fact that one win by El Paso or Bold could possibly move in front of them for that here. Coming up to the standings here in the Mountain, RGV is also dropped in the standings. El Paso starting to make up some games now, 10 games played, 21 points. RGV, New Mexico's made a run with two wins here with 20 points. Switchback kind of cooled off a little bit. 2 losses out of their last 3. The Boulder, they're a strong team. Kind of middle of the pack. SAFC was off, but of course we're still on the winless streak. And Real Monarchs, 13 games played, 10 points. I think they're going to be in the basement. So. For San Antonio FC, 9-point difference between 1st and 2nd, and could possibly be more with games played. But the good news is they still have all 4 games against El Paso still to play. So unlike RGV, where we only have 1 game left, will be game 3 against the Switchbacks. We've only played New Mexico once, and that was in New Mexico. So we've got the ability very shortly to start to close this distance and start to pass some teams here. Looking In the Pacific, Rising still in the lead, although Orange County's kind of closed the gap at 21. Loyal at 18 points, and then it's your two-team delight. Either the Lights, Galaxy, Tacoma. Right now, it's the Lights. Sacramento's making San Antonio look good because they keep losing and have a longer winless streak than we do. And then everybody's favorite Oakland Roots, 6 points in 8 games. So as we discussed here earlier, they got some room to do and some games to play here. So good luck on them trying to catch up here. Out east, Rowdies, although they lost last night, still lead the Atlantic, followed by the Riverhounds. Hartford, who beat the Rowdies last night in Tampa, in third, have 2 games in hand and 2 and 3 games on there. The Miami FC, the Fighting Billy Forbes, are in a playoff position. Followed short, it was Charlotte and Red Bulls and Battery. And then Loudoun United has as many off-field incidences with fans than they do wins. So that tells you about
first of all, yikes. Second of all, didn't Charlotte Independence just take down Phoenix Rising?
No, they tied 1-1.
That ended up in a draw. Okay.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Still, that's a pretty solid result for them.
Solid result. Out in the Central, Birmingham still leads 22. Lou City, although they're playing right now and up 2-0 on Energy. Tulsa and Energy, we should have put that in the notes, but the lights went out at Taft, and so last week's game got canceled. But like I said here, and I don't think it's been rescheduled as of yet. Indy 11, Atlanta, Energy, Sporting Kansas City, even in Memphis. This one is, if you get from 4th to 8th, it's a 3-point gap. So good luck in the Central, trying to figure out who's going to get that last playoff spot.
Yep, that is a tight group. And for the life of me, I didn't realize Greg Abbott had jurisdiction over Taft Stadium in OKC. That's crazy, man. Good luck to them, though. We know exactly how it goes.
Someone didn't pay their bill.
Poor Energy. I think they were up on that. I think our old buddy Frankie Lopez had scored a goal, and of course, with it being abandoned, it is no longer allowed here. Yep. So,
I mean, they dunk on themselves, and even Mother Nature's dunking on them. Like, man, it's just a rough go.
But they do have more wins than we do, so I guess that is that. So moving into the friendlies, we had 2 friendlies. SAFC lost 4-2 in each of them. Although I will admit, and I think even on this show, we were kind of unsure why SAFC was playing the friendlies because of injuries and form. Let's be honest with you,
which has really been the story of it's been the story of the season is injuries. And hey, look, you could have a whole 2-week break. No, let's play 2 games that really don't matter for anything. Yeah, it's a little frustrating. Yeah.
However, I will say I've kind of changed mine too. And even though they lost 4-2, I think the positives, and we're going to get to a topic, after here, because there is one glaring thing that was missing from there, not on the field, but off the field that we do need to kind of address.
Near the field.
So kind of looking at game 1, it was Mercado, Bryant, Perez, Holt, Diddley, Torres, Wright, Trialist, Hapano, Cuello, and Nathan. And what kind of struck me was a very short bench. That first match there where there was only 5 on the bench. And, we were there and we saw Sam Gladel, the Tunisian Terminator, and Dylan walking around the statement.
PC was walking around.
PC. Matt
Maloney
was in the stands that got highlighted.
Yeah.
So the team was there. And I thought, to me, and I'll let Rafa go into this, and because he was there, I thought they played a better game of tactical soccer on the pitch than we've seen all year.
They really came out. Rafa, go ahead. I'll go after you, but I want to talk about this as well. What you can say is that first game against Querétaro, you saw a little different system of play on the way they were doing things. There were not, I think, these players that
they're on the bench or the trialists and some of the younger guys, they went in with no fear. And I think they had something to prove, maybe to Marcina, say, hey, maybe you do need to take a look at us, getting part of the rotation, and they shined. There was quite a few bright spots that I saw for both games, but for the Querétaro game, there's some bright spots. We actually started playing the ball on the wings, and that's how we got goals.
That's Rafa's passion this year.
I'll tell you why that happened in a little bit.
But here we go.
But like I said, we had people in the right places also playing where they're supposed to be playing. But also, they started doing things that normally weren't doing. A lot of the times we weren't winning a lot of the 50-50 balls. This time we were. There was more of a hustle, more energy. And you can tell especially once the first goal went down, I mean, it pumped them up, and they just kept on the pressure and pressure. The defense, like I said, they held their own. So that was, like I said, the bright spots for that first game. And then, like I said, going into this game too as well, it was like a refreshed energy. Yeah. And like I said, the one player I was impressed in the first game for Querétaro and the defense was like Rocky Perez. Mm-hmm. He playing the central defense. He did an excellent job down there, and he's going to be a stud. Hopefully, in the next few years, and he could see the next one going to Europe. Who knows? Holt did a great job too. We had some other ones, the trialists. Where he's been all season. Yeah. And he did an excellent job as hey.
Yeah. Jonathan Check had the reporting on that's Mohamed Abu, who has a pretty long career
City,
playing with Man City. Yep, in the French league and a lot with Columbus Crew and a few stops in the MLS. But man, he looked really good. I 100% support if they need to sign somebody, which there's two needs that dude would fill, and that would be he plays central defense and central midfield. He also plays on the left side, and he could be a left back, which those are two needs that we have, especially with the injuries. That would be a huge signing to kind of solidify the roster with the injuries we've had. So I think that would be a very smart signing. But I mean, obviously we'll see what happens. Nothing's been announced, I hope. I've obviously annoyed Lou and Preston a lot.
I've put out my tweet as well.
Yeah.
And that's Jonathan Check of the Striker Texas who put it in his reporting. Game 2, Mercado, Gleedle, Kamiri's return back, Doyle, Dildy, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name, Lindley, Trialist, Cuello, Epps, Nathan, and Jose, and subs, the rest of the roster. So, pretty much if you were available, you have the flexibility.
Did you guys get the message on your app? I was listed as a sub. So were you guys?
I didn't see you out there, my friend.
Well, I mean, I was listed as a sub. I was on the sidelines. I never got in the game, but just in case, I was right there.
You got your cap.
I was hoping for it. To get a cap, you got to be on the field, and I still haven't gotten my cap yet.
So your thoughts on
that's not a good. There we go.
Yeah.
That second game. Yeah, that second game, like I said, another great. I mean, now you're facing a little more tougher opponent with some more history than Querétaro. Even though Querétaro finished higher than Pumas, I think Pumas struggled last year because of injuries. And that also their goalkeeper is actually playing. I think he's with the Mexican national team for one of the fans told me on Monday night. Mm-hmm. But Dilly, I guess I forgot to mention him. He did a great job.
He looked really good as the left-sided center back. Yeah, he looked. Or no, that was no, not Dildy. Dildy was the left back. Roman Holt
and
was
he got
the
an assist.
Center back. Yeah.
Yeah, he and Dildy got one of the assists. Nathan really shined on this game.
How do you keep Nathan out as a starter?
This is what I've been trying to say. Yeah. Listen to what I say. What I want to see, if you're going to go in this 4-4-2 is I want to see the two up top be Patino and Nathan, because Nathan connects both. Patino can be your goal scorer. Nathan comes back and he helps connect the midfield and the defense with the attack. This is what I've said, and this is exactly what he did during this game, and he looked damn good doing it.
Matt, correct dilly dilly.
Oh, good Lord. This is not Bud Light, dude. It's Dildy. Calm down.
Now, could you also go maybe with a 4-3-3, have Patino and Dylan, and have him as Nathan as a false nine?
No, and I really like the setup that they had in these two games. And the setup that they had was a 4-1-4-1, which is a typical Alan Marcina formation with the Scorpions, and he would have Rafa Castillo as that 1 as the 6. And in these two matches, you had Abu and you also had Rocky Perez, who, I mean, they both rocked it. They both rocked their shit in this game. Unfortunately, at the end of the second game, Rocky kind of got pulled out of position, but it was because the Pumas, the subs that they brought in had fresher legs, and they really did a good job pulling apart the SAFC defense to get their. But yeah, that was in the last 15 minutes of the game, and
the interesting part of that second game was they put Leo Torres on the outside.
As a left back, and he had a couple runs where I'm sure the Pumas guys were like, "How old is this kid? How bad is this kid making our team look?" He ran through the entire right side of the Pumas defense. He went by their right midfielder. He went by their right back, and he went by their right center back, only to get fouled by the right-sided center back in a desperation move to stop him, because otherwise he was going to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper if he doesn't get completely taken out with the slide tackle by the right-sided center back. Leo had some sparkling moments. He looked a little slow coming back a couple times, and it just kind of looked like he was tired. You could tell he wasn't really in game shape. But when he did have the endurance to actually get those bursts of speed, he looked pretty damn good. Yeah.
And I can also give props to Mercado too. He really had some good saves, and he's gonna be a quality goalkeeper.
He's gonna be a quality goalkeeper. He has really good distribution, and he talks, which is good to see. Which is good to see at his at his.
He's already
age.
Better than Matt.
He's very
communicating, not better.
Not as the goalkeeper, but at communication.
As a communicator, exactly.
Because it took Matt a lot more.
It took Matt a couple years to be more assertive, and honestly, I think that year that Matt was hurt and he got to kind of be the backup to Diego, and he got to see how Diego commands the box. And also Diego's shithousery of him just laying on the ground half the damn game. I think Matt really learned a lot from him during that season. It sucked that he was hurt. I remember Matt got hurt at whenever the Vancouver Whitecaps too were part of the league. He had a goal kick and he hurt himself on it. But
when there were 3 Northwest teams, now there's 1 and soon to be 0.
Crazy, right? It's nuts. But yeah. But Mercado was really impressive in his showings, and Kamiri obviously got the goal, but he looked really good. The other guy who looked really good on the right side, center back, was Varela. He looked really good as well. He commanded a lot. He communicated really well with Roman. Unfortunately, the game was 2-1 forever, and then it took a turn, and the reason it took a turn was Roman just kind of got bited off the ball against Pumas.
We saw that in the first game as well.
That's a physical thing. That's basically what happened. Was the strikers for both teams were like, this is a 16, 17-year-old kid as a center back. I'm just going to body him off the ball.
No, they put first team players into that half. And
I think both games, when SAFC went more to the younger, went more to the reserves there, that's when the Liga MX teams were able to kind of pull in, because the depth that they have is obviously a lot higher talent than ours is, right? And that's to be expected.
Exactly, 100%.
And that's why I asked Rafa. We went to Monday's game, to the final, and I asked him, is like, how do you think the Liga MX teams, thought about playing SAFC and being down for a majority of the match until the subs came through, and then of course their depth won out. And they're a talented team, don't get me wrong, but
they're deep teams as
they're
well.
deep.
Yeah.
But SAFC, I think, proved that when healthy and when things are starting to click, that number one, they can put the ball in the net, because they scored 2 goals for the first time since end of May. Yeah. In a game.
Two consecutive games. Yeah.
2 consecutive games. Number 2, I think you going there and watching them, you left going, hey, this team is in a lot better position than most people think.
Correct.
And it's just a matter if at this point, it's a matter if it can click, and it's a matter if it can click early enough, because I have no doubt it's going to click. The problem is are they going to dig themselves too deep of a hole?
Are we going to run into another, was it the 2018 or 2019 season where we went on that 5-game winning streak, but we still ended up being short 2 points?
Right, but you fell even on that. You fell at the end where you blew a Tulsa. I think it's the Tulsa St. Louis match where you went up to there. Yeah. You tied or lost to Tulsa, which you had no business doing. Nope. St. Louis was a mid-level team, and you didn't come. You didn't come with the points that you needed.
And that's when at home, that was the Lance Lang show where he just showed up and he was like, hey, I'm going to use my left foot and I'm just going to rock everybody out of my way. And dude, that dude had a hell of a run. But yeah, that was disappointing, man. Yeah, I'm pretty confident that was the 2018 season.
There is one glaring thing that happened this week, and
or didn't happen.
And Matt Gomez already noted on here the 118 takeover by international supporter groups.
Yeah.
And I want to be very careful with this, because this is not an attack on any of the supporters groups, because
it's an observation.
I am just as guilty as everybody else. I am. This is not to attack. But it is something that's bothered me the last couple of years, is when we have a friendly, the supporter groups don't show up and support it. And what I mean by that, there were 0 TIFO from any of the supporters groups. There was, you had both Liga MX teams had supporters groups there. Pumas obviously travels well. They're a historical team. Rafa can go into that. They had people there. Rafa went to, games at the Alamo Dome, and there were supporters from out of state. The reason why it kind of stick out at this point here, number one, and this is the reason why I want to bring it up, is as fans, as supporters, we want our players to give everything that they can give. We criticize when they do something wrong. We not try to do it personally, but we do say, hey, this is something that needs to be addressed. It's only fair when they go and have a friendly, and yet nobody's out there cheering and supporting them from the supporters group section. And that's on all of us fans. It's not on 118. It's not on the Crocketeers. That's not on 210 Alliance. As a fan group, as a supporters group, we need to come and make a decision on, are we just, hey, great, and I'm guilty of this myself. Am I great where I'm a fan and, hey, I'll show up, I'll travel. I don't stand in the bunker. I haven't for years along those lines here. And, yet I am part of the Crocketeers, and I do pay the dues for 210 Alliance as well to support them. But I think that is something that we need to kind of look at, and as a group come together and figure out a way, so that way the next time San Antonio FC hosts a friendly, there's a level of support there, whether it's the full supporter group section, make up of, hey, Harry, we need people, and we need people down here. Can you come down and stand? We get the TIFOs out, and I heard there was issues with the TIFOs because it's only unfortunately one person or one. There's one person that has access to them at this point. So to me, it's something that it was a glaring need. I'll go to you, Rafa, because you were part of 118. You've been around the supporters group here. Your thoughts of what it was, and and to me, how important it is not only for us as fans, but more importantly for the players and team.
Yeah, just going to the games and you know, I'm gonna be. Let's just say is this. When we went saw the two friendly games like this week, you know, and then I went to one on Saturday. You're there to support your team, regardless if it's a friendly cup game, this and that. You will go any part of any team in Europe, South America, you're gonna show up. Now I understand that there's some situations that you may not be able to show up, but say, hey, if you can call other people, like you mentioned, Harry, hey, we need some people to come here in the bunker and so forth. I did hear something about they weren't allowing people to go into a bunker if you didn't have a ticket, which does need to be addressed and needs to be fixed because we didn't have that problem the last few years. Anybody can go down there and go cheer on your team. But to me, if I'm going to support my local my team, I want our supporter groups to be there to cheer them on because I'm looking at the other ones. They're there for them. They traveled, and then after the games, and this is where you'll see after the games, especially like Pumas. Pumas came out there, they clapped in front of their fans, they did their chant, they were throwing caps and this and that. That's a thank you. That's a thank you to the fans for coming out and supporting them. And I looked at our team, our fans. Yeah, they went to the kind of the crowds on that, but for them not be able to go to our bunker supporter section and to do kind of the same, that didn't look good on us. If we're going to be taken serious as a soccer supporting our soccer team and this and that, that needs to be fixed. So we need to be there supporting them. Like I said, regular matches, friendlies, it needs to be it needs to be done. And egos aside and this and that, as being a supporter, you're there for the team. You're not there just to look good, to be on in the pictures, be on in the videos, this and that, and whatever, to get all the attention on yourself. You're there to support your team. And I know the 3 years there when I did it, it was about them. I had fun, cheering on my team, win or lose, whatever. That's what it's all about. And lately, going on Saturday's game, I went to the Club America game, and you see they're all, talk to the El Momental. That's the name of the supporters for Club America. You have people flying in from Atlanta, Utah, New York, from Dallas, Houston, the local San Antonio. It's a friendly, but they're still there to cheer on, singing along throughout the whole game, cheering it up, doing what they're supposed to do. And at the end of the game, like I said, the players went over there to that section and to show their appreciation for being there. It was not the tickets were expensive, but hey, at least the players went over there to give the appreciation because they sacrificed. And that's the thing. I think we need to sacrifice more for our team and for us to be taken seriously as a soccer town and being soccer supporters. So that's my view on those things. We can't be selfish. We can't be driven by egos on personal stuff. It is all about our team and what can we do to cheer them on to get. I know we're going through a rough patch right now, but what can we do to help them lift up their spirits and to help and hopefully and maybe that'll influence them to get some wins. Stuff like that really helps you get through. Kind of the little slump that we have right now.
Royce?
Yeah, Jacob Tingo actually brought up an interesting point. He said Rafa's spot on here. Lack of true engagement from the players with the fans this year is glaring. It's hard to feel connected to fellows who don't even clap the supporters after a game. Maybe I'm sensitive, but that's one thing the SAFC players have done well for all, I guess, previously. I kind of disagree with Jacob there. Whenever we had that real disappointing loss against the last regular season game, Cam came over and a few of the players came over and, just clapped with us in our little group in 114, 113. And they were like, we're sorry. And we're like, you know what? Get them next time. Just put the finishing boots on. And that's right. That's when there was a red card and they just couldn't tie it up. That was against the Bold. That was the July 4th game. but there was direct communication there where the players were pretty much ashamed of the result and their performance on the field, and it's kind of upsetting to see that. But at the same time, what they need is, they need the support, and if they have the potential to go on a huge run and to really take over this division, but they're going to need all of us behind them to do so. Soccer's a lot like football, where the crowd noise and getting a crowd behind you really pushes you to go and really go for it and succeed, and that's a big part of it. That's why you have in Seattle the 12s with the Sounders, but it's a really important thing, and it's kind of disappointing. Definitely going to the 2 international games, there was such a lack of SAFC atmosphere to the point where in our section of the crowd, there were people doing the SA and then FC, SAFC, and that's because the supporters groups weren't doing that. So you had people, just random people in the crowd, having to do that, and that was pretty glaring in itself. It kind of sucked. I'm used to that atmosphere, being in the bunker or being in a winning team, wherever it's at. It doesn't matter. It's in the stadium, and at the same rate. I know I'm going to contact, I got an email from Taylor. Taylor is my season ticket rep, but I'm going to contact him and just talk to him about, hey, you guys got to figure this thing out with the bunker. Cause I've heard from a lot of members of the supporters groups that they're not even allowed in the bunker to be with the supporters group area because they don't have the proper tickets or the proper credentials to get in there. That's pretty nuts to me.
That's the other issue that came out on this here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna call Taylor tomorrow and try to figure that out, because that just sucks. That
doesn't make sense at all.
That doesn't. It sucks the wind out of the sails, and we're kind of halfway coming after the supporters groups. We're coming after fans in general, but kind of coming after the supporters groups. But at the same time, they're not, they're not fully to. I don't want to say to blame, but it's really not all on them if they can't even get over there. Like, that's shitty, man. But
yeah,
we got to figure that out.
To me, that was the other thing. And I think when I put this tweet out, and I told Royce and Rafa, and, I ran my tweet by Rafa before I even submitted it out, is on the show, we try to keep it down the middle, not, I'm a Crocketeers. I've been.
We're not MSNBC. We're not Fox News. Yeah.
We're just trying to keep it down the middle. This is 3 guys, just a fan show. No, nothing. No affiliation with anybody. But to me, I'm kind of happy that we brought this out, because I think that it highlighted something that I don't think many people realized, unless you go down there, is. We knew during the pandemic that, or during the first 5 matches, that, they were looking at tickets going into the bunker. And we understood that, because they wanted to keep a certain amount of people in.
And keep people separated, because the whole point was social distancing. You only wanted the stadium. If the stadium's a third full, but everybody's in the same corner, that defeats the damn purpose of keeping it a third full. Yeah, exactly.
It's like going to Tennessee right now.
God, that's a whole other.
Or Florida.
But
when you
we were rolling, Harry. We were rolling, and then you said that, and you completely derailed.
It was perfect.
But you look at it, you have to have a sense of pride for your team, because you're wearing like the colors. With the shirts that we wear, you have pride for your team.
You're wearing a Mexico jersey, dude. I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, that's because they're playing today. That pride. I'm part of Pancho Villa Army.
It's fair. I know.
That's pride for that. But when we go to, like I said, the SAFC games, you have to have a sense of pride of your team, and pride goes into sacrificing and showing up to those type of games too as well, because all eyes are on us, and those games were I think they were televised.
Yeah, they're Bally's.
They're probably, everyone's watching like, where the heck is everybody?
Yeah,
they don't have a supporter group, and it kind of makes us look bad at some of the other supporter groups from The other Copa Tech has teams like
Yep.
They went. So I checked. The Stampede went to theirs. Was it?
Bold. I know Bold played Cruz Azul. I'm sure
But
they
what's
went to
their
that game.
Cinco? Hold on.
La Cinco Doce
12
is bold. La Cinco Doce is
Doce.
the bold. Yeah.
Is they went
To the
if El
Cruz
Paso
Azul,
didn't
yeah.
have a baseball stadium and they hosted Juarez, I think it's Juarez. It's across the.
It's Juarez.
Juarez
Yep.
FC.
Juarez FC. Yep.
That Eighth Notch would have been there. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So to me, we've tried many different things to try to bring the supporters groups together. And I almost think we need to do what kind of Houston did. And I talked with Edson because Edson, from RGV, from
With the Tesh
down in the valley.
Yeah.
What they used, Houston, and I know it's MLS, but Dynamo has multiple supporter groups as well.
Yep.
But on game day, they unify under I forget whatever
That one area that's
that
under
one
the,
area.
that area under the roof on one side of the
But
stadium.
they have a specific game day title for that here. Let me see, find this text here.
It's fine. We can roll with it. Keep
But-
going. I'll look it up.
Oh, that's
Keep
fine.
going.
Well, no, I texted. But anyway, they have their identities throughout in the tailgate and along those lines. But when it comes to that 90 minutes, they unite under the Houston whatever, Houston MLS fan group, or supporters group, whatever you want to call it. I almost think that that's something that maybe what San Antonio FC and the three supporters groups needs to come together is when you walk into Toyota Field, instead of being, hey, I'm Crocketeers, I'm 210 Alliance, I'm Mission City, which that's great, and that's how you can identify and along those lines. But when you're in Toyota Field, it should all be about just one team, and that's San Antonio FC. It doesn't matter, the name, of your membership, or along those lines. And I think we've got to get to a point where we've been, where we can get to there. I think we're improving, especially if you go back from the Scorpion days up here. We are 1,000 times better. But I think in order to take that next step, we've got to unite under one, whatever name you want to name it, in the bunker. And that way there's no politics and pet, along those lines here. And I know Rafa hears more politics than I do, but that way it comes into one, because the other issue that we're running into is like with the TIFOs. It's, right now it's being controlled by, from my understanding, a couple of people. It's not accessible to everybody. So even though one supporter group was able to go to the match, the other supporter group wasn't. They didn't have access or have the ability to get the TIFOs to be able to go out and do it. And that's where maybe if we had some sort of coalition or some sort of unity between the three supporter groups, to where
Be
saying,
able to
hey,
designate somebody to do it. If someone's not going to be there for the game, hey, we have someone that can get hold of that. And that's, but the one thing also, if you notice from the Puma games, especially the Pumas game, they were cheering there in the parking lot. They drummed into the stadium.
Fireworks after the game. Yeah.
We didn't see that in ours. We don't. I remember in the past we used to drum inside. That's not done anymore. Some people do need to get off their high horse and hey, let's humble ourselves. We're part of this group.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. And this is from Rafa. Like I said, this is from Todd. So Todd, I hope you're watching. Yeah, this is us when we had the game against Santos. That was fun. It was a good rivalry, like a little rivalry, but it was fun, and that's what I think we missed out on these last two friendlies. And they even, like I said, Saturday when I going to the Club America game, it was the same thing. It was like the Tigre fans and the Club America fans, squaring off. Same thing on Sunday when they have Rayados and Chivas. We have, and then also I think an opportunity is some of those Puma fans are probably live here in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. Probably have no clue about SAFC. Exactly. This was our opportunity to say, hey, come join us. You should come to some of our game, SAFC games. We'll turn you an SAFC fan. Come join us here at the bunker and come cheer us on. You know, maybe we'll get some guy to play the trumpet like they had one on Monday night. You know,
Dude, the trumpet makes a world of difference. I won't lie to you.
That's the high pitch. Yeah.
But that's not happening there because if we're not dedicated to, you know, to the team, and like I said, you know, maybe sorting out some bandwagon fans out of there, you know, that's maybe needs to be done. But if you're dedicated to this team,
I don't know if it comes down to that. What I really think needs to get focused on, honestly, is outreach, and that's a big thing that kind of being doing the tailgates underneath the bridge kind of hampers with outreach. I really think the supporter groups can get together and maybe each of them are at a different bar and they do like a pub to park thing. With the amount of sponsorship that the supporters groups bring in from outside, you would think they could do the same to like a bar, get together with a local bar, have the bar go 50-50 with you on a bus or something, bring in a whole bunch of patrons that are going to be at the bar to eat and drink before the match, drive. And while you're there at the bar, people are going to ask, hey, you know, what are you guys going? What are you all about? They're going to learn about the supporter group. They'll learn about the team. That sounds cool. How much are tickets? It's $10 for the damn game. Just join us. It'll be cool. Get in there. You just brought a new fan in, and those people are going to tell other people. We had a great time. It was awesome. We just went to the bar. We took the bus, or we took an Uber because there wasn't enough room in the bus, hopefully. We went to the game, and it was great. We chanted the whole time. It was just a good time. SAFC won. So that's how you can get that outreach. And it would be awesome to see, you know, Alliance go to, I don't know, Ranger Creek, Crocketeers go to Alamo Brewery, Mission City go to, I don't know, Burleson. I know they've used Burleson before, but just do that and just get a bus to go up 35 to the stadium right there. So maybe the Pearl or just something, just get a presence outside before the game, get some people, especially on Saturday. People are going to go watch soccer on Saturdays. They're not done watching soccer when the game ends. Hey, I mean, when the Euros would have been perfect, people would have stopped watching soccer around 4. And then you get people still drinking at the bar. You get people going, where are you guys going? San Antonio FC is going to play a match. You want to come watch some more soccer? Hell yeah, dude. Let's keep drinking. Let's keep chanting. That's perfect. I think that's a good thing.
Something that you did touch on, Royce, on the community stuff. I know Harry mentioned this in the past. You know, we have a lot of soccer fans like in the West and South Side.
Yeah,
and I wish it's an untapped entertainment source. Yeah, I wish Spurs Sports Entertainment would go and untap that source.
Yes.
You know, they also need to be involved too, because if you notice, we haven't had any. I don't think we've even had a watch party. I know the Crocketeers are doing the watch party. I think you know this Saturday. But where are the San Antonio FC sponsored watch parties? Yep. They're not doing those.
I think they had one when I was in Mexico because I was kind of pissed that they had one when I was in Mexico. I was like, really?
They used to have that network of bars, and they stopped doing it. I think the pandemic
because nobody came.
That, honestly,
to be honest with you, nobody came, and that's. But to me, that's where I'm saying this isn't just a supporter group issue. Yeah. This is not. This is a fan issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're a fan of the team, when San Antonio FC puts out these events, when 210 Alliance puts out these events, when the Crocketeers put out these events, when Mission City puts out these events, you need fans to show up. Yeah. Because I try to show up, and I think I do fairly well on trying to support evenly. But it's the same people that go to them. We never see it expanded, and I don't know how you fix that, because I know Thomas and the Crocketeers made a big push to kind of get fans. I know Lee made several pushes to bring in and get fans, and I know I'm trying to blank on his name.
Is it Bob or Stuart?
Stuart.
Or Ryan.
We don't mention Bob's name.
Well, that's because he fell on the Toyota field. He's never heard from again.
Stuart's the latest one to try to be able to build. And and I know this might rub the Crocketeers the wrong way, and I'm part of the Crocketeers, but I consider us more of a fan group than a supporters group because most of us are sitting, in different
your own
areas.
seats, right?
Very few of us go down into the area, and we all have reasons. Mine's AJ likes the seats. I've asked him, and I like where my seats are. And could I go do it? Yes, and that's on me. But we've got to start bringing in more younger people, and Stewart's trying to do that, but one person can't do it. It's going to take all of us to try to be able to work on this. The other thing here, and I know Aaron kind of hits on it, is you fix it with on-field results, and we haven't had that successfully. That's true to a point, but I think the on-field, to me, the bigger issue is when you do get people in, and then you run into issues where people can't get into the bunker, and that leaves a sour taste in the mouth. So, you invite people in, but then you run into additional roadblocks at the stadium.
Which
is, and that's to me the bigger issue, because I think the environment, whether you win or lose, the fans set that environment.
Correct.
And this year, and I know we're 2 games in, post, where we're back at 100%. The game day environment at Toyota Field is below where it's been. You can make any excuse you want, but the last match against the Bold, and I'm just as guilty of it. I sat down because I was like, man, this is not going well. We're not going to score. Blah 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 blah. And the second half, the stadium was just it was just sitting like I was, arms crossed, waiting for the players to do something instead of trying to inspire them. And that goes on all of us. Maybe we needed
speak
this.
for yourself.
Break.
I was screaming my heart out, and Rafa stayed there till the end. But I mean, speak for yourself. But I mean, point taken. It was, and the problem with that was the crowd was a powder keg. The crowd was ready to explode. There were chance after chance after chance. You couldn't really catch your breath. There were so many chances that SAFC created at the end. The ball just didn't go in the damn net, and everybody just kind of went out of there like, God, that
happens. That happens.
That is the beauty of the game, because that happens, and you're like, it. Sports.
I'm sure all the England fans were ready to pump when they got their first goal,
Yikes.
and then Italy stick it to them in the end. But
yeah, and
so
you could tell all the Mexican fans felt the same against Trinidad and Tobago, trying to get their one. They never did. Yeah, exactly.
And I think, if SAFC is listening, Jacob brings in a good point here. Says, you know what? We'll bring in young fans. The bunker being open to the 21 to 25 or 21 to 30 casual fans. That's with the supporters groups being in there. I think that is also spot on. Jacob.
Correct. And what they can do, what San Antonio FC can do, and I'm not arguing against this. It is what it is. But I think this is what they need to do is set up a security guard or a bouncer or something at the opening of the Bud Light bunker. Make it 21 and over.
Check it used to be.
Yeah,
it used
that's
to be
what I'm saying.
21
Bring that
or
back.
over.
Yeah,
because that way you could walk into the bar.
Correct.
You didn't have to have seats. You could walk into the bar because there's a bar down there, and you used to be able to go and purchase. I think it was one of the beers that had multi-taps.
Right, exactly. You could do bands, but Matt brought up a good point. There's that whole bridge behind the whole bar area that everybody can post up on. You don't have to have a ticket for there. You could just post up there, and there were a lot of people that were posted up there during the Pumas game, at least. But honestly, we've been kind of getting real verbose about this, but we can give out as many ideas as we can, but the supporters groups, this is really going to be up to them to fix this and the team. But like I said, I'm going to take the first step in calling tomorrow. I'm going to call Taylor. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with that, because it sucks, and it really does suck the life out of the stadium when you can't get, the whole point that we're talking is we miss it. We love the supporters groups. We love 210. We love Mission City. We love Crocketeers, and we want to help grow that, because that
I think there's another point I want to
make Toyota Field.
There's another point I think also. Sometimes I don't remember in the past we had little issues with some of the security people there.
Yeah,
and they didn't understand what we're trying to do for the team, and that
Right.
caused some problems too. I think that also needs to be addressed too.
Yep.
Say, hey, look, these are the support groups. This is how this is what they're about. And I think that also needs to be addressed
Yeah.
too.
It's
And
the
so-
supporters group should meet up with the facilities manager for sure.
Yeah,
So I actually already emailed my ticket guy, and I won't email it because I already got a response back from him. He said from their perspective here, says the idea was to create a space exclusively for our supporter groups. So in order for a fan to be in the bunker, they have to have a bunker seat, either full season or an individual game ticket. So to me, that's something that maybe we need to reach out to them. And this might be, Stuart, James, what's the lady's name for 118? Mandy. Maybe need to reach out and say, because in 118 it was open to everybody, and it was understood. It was general admission. Everybody could come in. Pick
up a flag
along those lines. So I think this may be something to where maybe we can kind of, if us fans communicate to our season ticket members, be nice about it. Don't be rude or anything along those lines.
Exactly.
But say, please, open it up to where everybody can go in, and that's how you can kind of build it. And I know Aaron tweeted out earlier that because he seats on the east side, that he likes to go down into the bunker for the first portion of the game, have interact with the supporters, have some beverages, and then when the sun goes down, he goes to his seat, which is great. And that's how you kind of build on it here. But I do think that's there now. Colorado Springs is next.
Let's move on.
Did you have one final comment, Rafa?
No, like I said, I think honestly the bunker should be general admission. That's what it needs to be. Bottom line.
Agreed. So real quick update from my buddy who's been a Dynamo season ticket holder. Said 2 groups unite. That would be El Battalion and the Teshin Army, and they unite to combine and be Hustle Town. Apparently, is what they call themselves.
And then the Surge also.
And then there's 2 other groups that remain independent as they go in, but some of the people go in.
But they go in. They all go into.
They go in that little area that's underneath the awning on the south side of the BBVA. Yeah.
Right. But it's the Hustle Town is so they may be affiliated, but they go into that area. So moving on to Colorado Springs, Haji Berry show. What can you say?
Not wrong.
He's doing something that San Antonio isn't doing, to the tune of 12 goals and 3 assists already. And Colorado Springs already announced that they've signed him for a multi-year contract. So thumbs up to Colorado Springs for locking him up.
Smart move.
Hopefully, put a clause that they can sell him and get $100,000.
Yeah, no, there's a sneaky clause. That's the next goal he scores, he automatically goes to SAFC. That'd be fun.
It's a place that we have never won at. I think we've tied.
There's a first time for everything. There is a first time for everything. There is a first time for everything.
So head to head, we are 3 wins, 3 draws, and 4 wins for San Antonio. So it's been a pretty even series here. The last match, which was in Colorado Springs, was the Patino. What are we calling it?
It was the draw. Yeah, I guess it was the last minute draw that we got from Dylan.
From the around the world.
The
violent conduct.
3 games, the 3 game rest there, for the TKO for Patino. But no, in all seriousness, hopefully no, nothing like that takes place on this game here. So I think we know what we know what we're facing. Colorado Springs with Haji Berry, he's the focal point. I think if you can try to, I won't say stop him, but at least try to contain him a little bit. I think you can, and then if memory serves me, because that was a very frustrating game as well. The last time that they were up there, until they got the late, the late goal to tie. As always, we have opportunities. You just got to be able to finish them. Rafa, your thoughts on facing the Switchbacks for the 3rd time this year?
I know this time we really need to address, the outside defense. That's where they killed us in that game. Even though we tied them on the last meeting, Doyle was pretty much left high to dry. That needs to be addressed going into this game, and hopefully from these two friendlies, maybe they can say, okay, we can fix some of this, and just shut them down because honestly, their defense is not experienced as ours, and we need
But
to
they
take
got good
advantage of.
mustaches.
Yeah, they get not like this, uh, but like I said, we need to take advantage of that. Hopefully, like I said, Pacino is on his best behavior and gets a hat trick. And they're in Colorado because we're missing that. So that's going into I think this is a must win. For us, stealing 3 points there it's will help us build confidence because the next two are the doozy ones, and then we get that other big road trip coming up. So if you want to set the
And you
tone
get the
for the
gauntlet,
next,
the gauntlet that will be August. Yeah.
so if you want to set, after good showings these past couple weeks, and some of our players getting the rest, this is the game we need to steal, get the 3 points, and then playing against two teams ahead of us. That hopefully we can start chopping them down and get into that top four.
Start the second third of this season off on the right foot. Let's get a result in Colorado, which would be the first one that would be really setting a tone for the second half. What I'm excited to see, I want to see if they go back to this 4-1-4-1. And I'm excited to see who's healthy and who's going to be the six if they do go to it. That formation looked really good against Pumas and Querétaro. Let's see if they go back to it. It was very interesting. There was a lot of pressing. There was just a lot of strength in that formation, and they utilized it really well, man. We'll see if the same thing. Going back to the recent match that Colorado Springs just played against New Mexico United, just watching the game, New Mexico United just really plugged up the middle of the field, which is why they remained tied until the very end. And New Mexico United stole one from across from the left side. But and the reason that was open was because Colorado Springs had a red card again on the right side of their defense, which they had the same red card. Instead of the right back, it was the right center back. Edwards got it, who was a right center back when SAFC played. But when New Mexico played this past game against Colorado Springs, the Colorado Springs right back got the red card. And so that was the side that New Mexico United attacked over and over again, and they ended up getting their second goal and the winning goal real late into that match. But basically what happened was just while it was 11-on-11, New Mexico United just really plugged the middle up, which kind of nullified Haji Berry there, and that was kind of what they did. And it's kind of similar to what SAFC did in the match that was the first match that they played at Toyota Field. SAFC just kind of plugged in the middle, and Colorado Springs didn't really have an answer for that. And so look for that. Maybe that will come to fruition again in this match. But it's just looking at the last match. Colorado Springs it's a very winnable game, and SAFC needs to go up there, and like we've been saying, they need to get that result and start this second third of the season on the right foot.
Like you mentioned about the 4-1-4-1. If we do go back to that, one of the things that they do need to utilize is playing that ball on the outside, and that really opened up opportunities for that. But one thing I know I mentioned this to Harry. Monday's game we watched Querétaro actually play a 4-1-4-1, but they were pressing very high with four players, and it was very effective. And I'm hoping Marcino was at that game watching. Hey, take notes from this. It was very effective. It caused Pumas a lot of problems, and I think if we can take the players that we do have, if we can take a page out of that, I think we can really put pressure on their defense and have them make mistakes that we can take advantage of, especially like the ones like Nathan, goal Nathan scored on and so forth, and also from the corner for Courier too.
Honestly, what I was thinking watching that match, it's kind of casually watching it, but watching it really kind of seemed like Querétaro kind of took a page out of Marcina's book and kind of had a very similar setup as SAFC did, and that was really successful against Pumas. With obviously we're up 2-1 until the 75th minute, but they kind of were like, let's do that same thing. That looks really successful, and it was successful for them as well. So I mean, there's something there.
So to kind of touch on the importance of really the rest of this month, we play at Colorado Springs on Saturday. Wednesday we host at 8:30. So keep in mind it's an 8:30 kickoff, not a 7:30 kickoff on Wednesday against New Mexico United. I think it's another ESPN game here.
Yep.
And then that following Wednesday they host El Paso, and then that Saturday they face the Bold. And the reason why that's important, number one, all of those are divisional games, but you start off in August going, the first two matches away at El Paso, at RGV on another Sunday match for that here. So to me, like I said here, I think you're going to find out where San Antonio's playoff chances are going to be very quickly, because they've got the schedule to where if they put some results together, they can move up. However, if they drop points and don't get points where they should, it's a 6-point match basically. You have nobody to blame but yourself. So these next 4 matches, I think are pretty pivotal. To me, like I said, Colorado Springs is one of those sneaky teams, where to me, I think if you come away with a point, you're okay with that. If you can get the 3 points, depending on how the match plays for it here, but you can't lose it. But then, if you do that, you've got to get the 3 points at home against New Mexico. You've got to get the 3 points against El Paso for that here. And I would like to say to get the 3 points against the Bold, because I think, as fans on a Saturday night, we can drive up there and make Bold Stadium turn into Toyota Field.
July 31st is my 34th birthday, so there is also
nice.
that. So yeah.
Bring up the flares and the cake.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could just bring the cake, and it's just going to be on fire with how many candles are going to be in the damn thing. So we just might as well do that.
So to kind of start to finish up here, the Euros, unfortunately, it didn't go home as Rafa said. It went to Rome.
It went to Rome. Yeah.
And then Copa America, my goat, Messi, and Argentina beat Brazil in Brazil for that here. So any final thoughts, Rafa, on either the Copa America, Euros, or a combination?
I mean, for the Euro final, what can you say about? I mean, what a heck of a game, Props to Italy, I don't think anybody that bet on Italy there in Las Vegas probably won a ton of money after Sunday. I mean, you got to give it to Mancini. I mean, if there's a FIFA Coach of the Year award, you got to give it to him. He truly deserves it. And talk about Chiellini and Bonucci, the old timers really stepping up and leading that team, to victory. And the goalkeeper too.
That's a major, Donnarumma won player of the match, but even with the injuries that Italy had, they had some pretty prominent injuries, and they still, I mean, even in the final, Chiesa going out only after being on the field 12. I thought that was it. I thought he was their spark, and then with Chiesa going off,
couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Gareth Southgate really just botched the match. They got that first goal, and it's like he turned into Mourinho. He's like, "Oh, let's just bunker and try to preserve this 1-0 win," and it's like that's not gonna work, dude. No, and of course it didn't. And then after the last 2 minutes of extra time to put on Rashford and
no, it wasn't the last 2 minutes.
And Sancho right before
minutes.
It was the last minute. Yep.
Yeah, and to put them in, and then also have Bukayo Saka take
the fifth,
the fifth PK or the fifth penalty as a 19-year-old. That's just rough, especially when you have Grealish. I mean, that may be on Grealish. Grealish needs to pick up the ball.
Grealish came out, said that he wanted to do it. This is all on Southgate. He set the order. Grealish said yes, he wanted. There's video of him saying yes, and
yeah,
it's on Southgate.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, but once again, history repeats itself. England sucks in a penalty in a final. So
and I was talking to Rafa about this
or a major tournament
on Monday.
And Messi is the GOAT.
Well, but Mexico gets hammered for the P word. We'll say the chant.
Yeah, the chant, the unfortunate chant.
And I'll say,
not to justify them.
FIFA come after England, and I know it wasn't on the pitch, but how they treated their fans.
Oh no, that was awful. Stuff. That was off. It first the racial abuse online. That's embarrassing.
See, that's what I have issue. That's what I have issue with that.
England fans breaking into the stadium before the match even started, and it was supposed to only be 2/3 full stadium. And when you look at the film, there was not a seat empty, and there were people filling up the aisles. Like there were many more than fans than they advertised in there, and that's embarrassing. They should have delayed that.
FIFA's going to hammer Mexico, and in my opinion, rightfully so. I know Rafa's going to give his little spill on it here in a second here. I think you got to look at what happened in England and at least say, hey, this can't happen again, because let's be honest, it doesn't just happen in England. It happens in a lot of Eastern European
and oddly enough, Italy is one of the more renowned countries for racial abuse to players.
Like a Balotelli.
Exactly.
And I think if you're going to hammer Mexico, you also need to look at what's going on in Europe as well. It's not racism, homophobia, whatever you want to call it. It's unacceptable.
All under the same. It's all under the same roof.
And that's an issue there that FIFA kind of needs to be firm. If you're going to really punish one team, you need to do the same, because they're equally the same thing. I understand, like with the Mexico game, there were, I kind of blame the refs for that, especially the whole thing with the Chucky Lozano penalty that should have been. You have VAR and they didn't use it, and I think that had to do because of the referee being Costa Rican, and all had to do with 2015. But that's still not an excuse for the fans, to be setting that chant. And I think one thing about Pancho Villa Army, they're very adamant they don't do that chant, and they tell everybody not to do it. But you have rogue people, rogue fans, that are going to do it, and I think FIFA needs to not necessarily punish the team so that you got to get rid of those fans. If you get caught saying that, escort them out. Don't really punish the team, because you can't really control.
No, I know the only way that it's going to end, because what's going to I disagree. You're going to have to punish it's going to come down to the team being punished.
Well, here's the thing. But in Mexico, here's the thing. The games in the games in Mexico, if it's a national team game in Mexico, they're not doing that chant. But the games in the U.S., and you have those rogue fans that are just like, well, the heck, it's not going to affect me. I'm going to do it anyways. I think that needs to be more addressed to that. Get rid of those players. And I think what they should need to start doing, I know they did it at one game. I think it was one of the friendlies, is have the players address the fans and say, do not do this chant, period.
Right.
And that's it. But if you start hearing it, you need to pull out, because we did hear it. Like it's his thing. We did hear it on Monday. During the game, how's that being addressed? Do you escort them out, which they need to? I think they need to be more. I'm not saying more security, but people around there. Hey, if you hear something, escort them out. That way it doesn't distract from the team what they're trying to do and this and that. So I think, like I said, I'm not condoning it, but there's ways and steps that they need to fix, and also put the fans more accountable than really more of the players, because that's what you're really hurting is more of the players.
And then I want to touch on this Gold Cup. I know it's not the same as the Euros or Copa America. It's going on right now. U.S. beat Haiti 1-0. Mexico tied Trinidad and Tobago. We'll start with you, Raf. With you, Royce. You care about the Gold Cup? Don't care about the Gold Cup? What's your thoughts on it?
So I care just in the fact that Berhalter is trying to look for who's going to be the second string of players he takes with him to the 2022 World Cup. And I'm interested to see who steps up and who looks good. In that first match, Shaq Moore as a right back really surprised a lot of people. Jackson Ewell kind of did Jackson Ewell things where he does not know how to do a half turn and go up the field. And he just plays back the ball. He really kills offensive momentum. Paul Arriola going down really sucks. I hope he's all right. I haven't heard anything from his injury, but he was looking really dangerous in that match. I don't understand all of the side swiping of Giazzi Zardes that he gets, because he's a dependable player for the USMNT, and he's a good worker, and I wouldn't mind him being possibly a backup. Gianluca Busio looked really good. The kind of the three midfielders they brought in later, Gianluca, Sands, and Williamson, looked really damn good in that match. Obviously, Sam Vines getting the goal as a left back.
Sam Vines moving to Europe now.
Yeah, he's one of the best young players in MLS by far, and yeah, he's going to go to Europe now. There's some hope there, and it's interesting to watch them, but that's also kind of disappointing because there's some players in there that you're like, look, and you get it. It's Berhalter really putting his foot down and being like, look, you guys have really been stalwarts of the USMNT during this period to where we're trying to figure out who's going to go to the World Cup. This is it. This is make or break. Put up or shut up. And you could tell some of the players are, just not cutting it, and other players are really surprising and kind of making Berhalter's decision difficult, which is, that's only a good thing. That just means the team's going to be stronger.
Rafa, your thoughts on Mexico, which the Guatemala-Mexico game is delayed until 9:20 Central Time, earliest kickoff according to Fox Soccer. So
probably raining in Dallas.
I was going to say, is it raining?
Cotton Bowl. Well, as far as like talking about the U.S., like I said, the U.S., I don't really trust Berhalter as far as a manager. I think they, with all that talent they have, they have something special. They can really kind of take that next level. I don't think he's the guy. I think they need to find someone else that can really that can really organize it and get rid of the players that they don't really need and just focus on the ones that are going to make them content, especially, going into, the World Cup next year. As far as I'm going to
say something unpopular on that here, but I think Berhalter is kind of like Southgate is for England. I think he's going to get results. Listen, this is the reason I say it. I think he's going to get results where he's going to get you further than what you think, but I don't know if he can deliver the title at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think he's unproven, except for obviously being the CONCACAF champion. The U.S. winning that.
But
cup.
I think he's going to win more than fans think that he's going to do. Yeah. But I think when it comes to a big match, you're going to show.
We'll see what he does against the likes of a Mancini and of.
And that's why I kind of compare him to Southgate, because if you listen to English fans, it's a love-hate relationship with Southgate.
Oh, for sure.
He got them farther than they've ever been. They beat Germany. But in that title game,
it wasn't good enough to win the final. Exactly. Right. And one of the things I will say, and a thing that really that Berhalter and Southgate do have in common, I will say that, and it's not a negative, it is an extreme positive. The players love those men. Them. They absolutely love those men. And that's huge. That in itself is huge.
So you get further than they think.
Correct. It's not like Mourinho going into a locker room and half the team hating him right off the bat. They love that guy, and let's see. We'll see what they do. Southgate had some really smart tactical plans from the outset. It's just the issue is that Mancini outcoached him with the subs and changing formations. But
he scored too soon. That's what.
Well, I don't even think they scored too soon. What if you watch that match, the Euro final, in the first 40. No, it wasn't that. In the first 45, this is what happened. In the first 45 minutes, all of the Italian players in the midfield and on the wing were yelling at each other and pointing because they did not know how England was taking up as much space as they were. and Italy did not have enough space to operate, and they were yelling at each other, trying to figure out where they needed to go in order to take up that space. And what happened was they went in halftime, and Mancini, I mean, this is me assuming, but it's obvious what happened on the field. He pulled Verratti over to take care of all of the space that on the right side, that who would be on the right side? Kyle Walker and Kieran Trippier. They had all sorts of freedom on the right side of England. So Mancini pulled out Verratti to go take care of them and to go equal that number out there. And that simple move basically opened up that even out the field for Italy, and their quality took over from there and really pushed back England. And when it pushed them back, there was all sorts of space for Italy. And that's when they started finding all the success that they had. And it was just as simple as there was so much room on Italy's left, England's right, and that space got choked off by a smart move by Mancini, and that was the difference in the game. And Southgate never really recovered.
He never adjusted. He just never made the adjustment to
exactly.
And then he never, when they had them fighting, the Italians fighting with each other, he just never took advantage of it.
Yeah.
Had they gotten a second goal, that would have been it. I think that would have been it. But he, and that's why, like I said, with the managers, if you can't find, get someone that can do that nail in the coffin like what Mancini did,
right.
You're
leaving that door open, and that's
leaving that door open. So that's why I see with Ballhalter, it's like, can he nail the coffin if he goes up against, like a Belgium, like Roberto Martinez, or goes against, Deschamps there with France, you're going to see one of those teams, or you're going to have to beat one of those teams to at least get past the quarterfinals.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's why I don't have trust with him too much. But like I said, the talent's there, but we'll see what comes up with the whole.
But I just looked at the time. We have been going on forever. So,
yes. So we got to wrap it up. I got
Harry, take it over. Yep.
Two final nuggets here. One, there is a San Antonio FC watch party. It's going to be hosted by the Crocketeers. It's going to be at Alamo Beer Company. Kickoffs at 1:00. And they will have a raffle, which has a signed SA Athenians jersey, HB gift cards, and more. If you're a Crocketeers member, there is it's kind of a mid-season AGM meeting. So that if you're a Crocketeer, there is some business at hand. But if you're just a SAFC fan, please make plans. It's at 202 Lamar Street. I did check. It is open to family. It is family friendly.
It is family friendly. Yep.
It is family friendly.
It is. Yep. They have a lawn outside. They have cornhole. They have all sorts of stuff. It's a cool place to go chill.
They have food. From my understanding, the food's pretty good as well. Yep. Obviously, the beer's the beer's the beer, which is very good. Nobody, I haven't heard really too many people complain about Alamo beer. And then
the amber's fantastic. Yep.
And then 1 second here. This is a tweet from Mayor Ron. The Spurs and San Antonio FC are doing a vaccine on July 17th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Of course, you know where Toyota Field is, but you can get a free SAFC ticket with every vaccine and a chance to win a 10-game Spurs ticket package for there. So if you haven't got your vaccine, please do.
Especially now, just real quick going over it. It was going to be my final thought, but might as well talk about it now. The positivity rate has doubled, and the amount of hospitalizations has doubled in the last week, which is insane. And the whole state of Texas has more than doubled in the positivity percentage in the last week. The Delta variant's becoming really prominent. I have a friend that is vaccinated and has tested positive, unfortunately, and it's because he works with people that aren't vaccinated, unfortunately for that. But man, go get vaccinated. And once again, it's not about me, it's about we need to nip these variants in the bud.
It's about you, because
it can be about you to protect yourself, but really we're protecting everybody else around us, because the sooner that we stop all of these variants from mutating and morphing, the sooner we get rid of this. And once again, and I know everybody wants to go back to being normal, the stadium's 100%, but this crap can rear its ugly head again, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Is that it's making the virus doesn't care about anything. The virus just cares about spreading, and as long as people aren't vaccinated, it's going to spread, man. That's just what's going to happen, unfortunately. So just get vaccinated, please.
So that's Royce's final thought. Yours?
Well, I have one more.
You got one more?
Go ahead, Rafa. Go ahead, Rafa.
No, go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, just real quick. During our show, amazingly, I'm not saying to correlate or anything, but 210 Alliance tweeted out, want to be part of the action in the bunker at the next FCFC home game on the 21st of July. We're looking for people who want to chant, stay in support for a whole 90 minutes and have tickets to give away to bring people in. So if you do want to get in the bunker, 210 Alliance does have tickets to get you in the bunker to go chant. At the same time, San Antonio FC retweeted that 30 minutes later during our show. Not saying it's correlated, but it's just kind of the obvious. And we love you. We love the club. We love the supporters groups. We want to help as much as we can. We're just coming up with ideas. We're a little disappointed, but at the same time, this can be fixed, and we could just go and be positive from here, and we can, we can fulfill our potential. And there's a lot of potential in this city.
And to be fair, I didn't tag, but I did send a DM to all three groups, just to let them know that this was going to be a discussion, so that nobody was caught off guard. And I think we did it in a productive manner where it wasn't really attacking anybody. Just hey, we called out the obvious, and we're trying to provide solutions and be able to help. I do think, as Roy said, reach out to your season ticket members. Let's get the bunker opened up to everybody that's 21 and over. I understand, hey, maybe not having kids in there like you could do in 118. You got to be 21 and over because, there is the bar area back there. But I do think SAFC needs to relook at that, for that here and revisit that decision. So please reach out to your season ticket, representative to let them know that, that is something. I understand the idea. I understand the logic, but you can't go from an open 118 where everybody can come in. Because I think some of the best moments, and especially where we're coming up on Military Appreciation Night, I think some of the best moments is when you've had members of the military mixed in with the supporters group in 118. How they have the rules set up in the bunker, they could not do that at this point. Rafa, your final thought?
Just final thoughts, like I said, what we discussed, we want to be the envy of the other teams, as far as our support for our team. And, we also want to make it a hostile environment for the opposing teams, knowing that when they come in, they're going to hear us chant, they're going to hear us yell, scream, do what we need to do to get our team a victory. And they're going to go back home with a loss, and that's the atmosphere that hopefully we get to see that. And then, like I said, good luck to the boys on Saturday. Get those 3 points in Colorado, and get that vaccine. Get the vaccine. Take our opportunity what the city's doing. Great tickets. Get some Spurs tickets, SAFC tickets as well, and we'll hopefully we can see. We'll see you in a couple of weeks on that Wednesday night against New Mexico for the next home game.
My final thought is. If you can, shout encouragement out to the Athenians players. Let's not forget at the start of the show that they are making a run at the playoffs where they could have the opportunity to play up the road, in Round Rock for a national championship for that here. So, if you can, please support. If you can make the trip up to Mansfield, please do. But especially if they're able to if they're able to, play in Austin, in the Austin Round Rock area next week, please look to see if you can, kind of make arrangements to go support them. Please try to spread their communication on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, along those lines, to spread their message out because, they are a quality team and a bunch of, they're a fun group to watch. My other final thought here is I do want to say thank you to everybody that responded, in a positive manner to, this discussion that we had tonight, as well as to the conversation that we had on social media. This is not an easy conversation to have, for that here, because you don't want to offend anybody or anything along those lines.
Don't want to step on toes, yeah.
And point fingers, which it's not
Point
what
fingers,
it's not what our goal was. But also, just like I tell my kids, be nice to each other, because I've heard, we've had incidences where we've had SAFC supporter crime on SAFC supporter crime and stuff like that here. So, if you're in the bunker, if you're in the stadium, if you're in there, keep a cool head, respect each other, no matter if they're wearing, if they're wearing somebody, another country's jersey or anything along those lines. Just be nice and support each other. We all support San Antonio FC.
We're all #SAFC family for sure.
Correct. So I've heard a couple of incidences so far that hasn't really bubbled up, but let's try to nip it in the butt before something seriously happens.
Let's shake hands. Let's hug. Let's move on.
So
we want 3 points. And just my real quick final thought is, let's go, boys. Let's get these 3 points. Let's start this second third of the season off right, and let's go. Let's get those 3 points. Let's get it.
What's life without goals? We're out of here.